18 Southern Railway ships had taken part in the invasion, which had brought with it the inevitable casualties. Once again, Southampton's dry docks became hospitals for those vessels which had received their wounds in the new front line. A major casualty was the hospital ship Dinar, unhappy enough to strike a mine. It was thought she was lost, but skillful navigation brought her limping to Southampton for treatment. Only by continual pumping was the Dinar kept afloat. Exactly how she managed to get back across the channel is still an unexplained miracle. On examination, parts of her seemed at least half full of water. As soon as possible, she was dry docked, and her wounds were revealed as the water receded foot by foot. These pictures show the extensive damage to her hull. The mine had done its work very thoroughly. The Dinar was due for a long enforced rest, but she had won her laurels. Meanwhile, the Dinar's traditions were being carried on by other hospital ships which were kept fully occupied. Arrangements for the reception of the wounded at this time were of the most comprehensive kind. Southampton quayside swarmed with ambulances into which the stretcher cases were loaded direct from the ship's gangways. The cat-like tread of the colored American orderlies saved the patients many an unwelcome jolt. The more serious casualties were slung in their stretchers from the ships onto the trolleys gathered to receive them, and then wheeled into the dock sheds where the special trains were waiting, ready to transport them to more peaceful havens of rest and recuperation. Preparation had also been made to receive less welcome guests, German prisoners of war. A measure of them arrived tired and dispirited. For them, the war was over. There was little doubt now as to the ultimate end of the business on which they had embarked with such confidence some 5 years previously. The success of the United Nations on the other side of the Channel meant that the supplies necessary to maintain them must follow them deeper and deeper into Hitler's Europe. The French railways had been robbed of most of their rolling stock by the Germans during the occupation, and so replacements from Britain and the United States were sent over both as cargo and on ferryboats equipped with a special superstructure to take them. Loading gear designed expressly for the purpose was employed to lift heavy locomotives bodily from the quaysides. Once aboard, they were run smoothly into position on the ferryboat's own rails. One most important feature of the shipping of this traffic was the special link span, which worked something in the nature of a drawbridge between ship and shore. By its use, whole trains of goods wagons, Red Cross coaches, and other rolling stock were enabled to run straight from the dock rails onto the ferryboats, without the use of any lifting gear. The principle of the peacetime Dover to Dunkirk train ferry had been very successfully adapted to Southampton's wartime needs. Thus were the railroads of France replenished with the rolling stock necessary to carry our armies further along their triumphant road to final victory. And to mark that victory, a plaque was unveiled at the dock gates. 1939 to 1945. This tablet was presented to the Southern Railway by the 14th Major Port United States Army in proud and glorious memory of the men and women of the forces of the United Nations who sailed from this port during the war against aggression to secure the freedom of mankind. Now Southampton is returning to normal activity. She might take a well-earned rest, but that would not be in the dock's tradition. Ships, once familiar at her quays, are now carrying passengers and merchandise again. Southampton is still Britain's premier passenger port, prepared to receive any ship and every ship This is the wartime saga of Southampton Docks, gateway to victory, owned and managed by the Southern Railway.